last week in our first of the three-part series of Yoga for Elul, we dropped into our essence and tried to work with some amount of release, the exhale sigh, and getting into letting our bones just be heavy and weight down and feeling that gravity and that release when we can let go a little bit. And that's the transcend, that then brings out our essence and brings out our highest self. Every time I think about the yoga sequence for the day, or I just start doing a yoga sequence for the day, I often just come back to the very essential components of life, energy, body, which for me are the elements of earth, and like I talked about last week, a little bit of like bones and heaviness, as well as then the breath and air, and then how I want to transform or move, or how the poses just end up helping to bring heat and bring fire and transformation through the body. And so I think of these poses in this practice as a very elemental practice that brings us through our bodies and our flesh into our breath and into our spirit and into a higher consciousness. And in the Kabbalah, actually before Kabbalah, Kabbalah is often referencing Sefer Yetzirah, which is a book of formation, which the authorship is somewhat unknown, mysterious. It's dated to the 2nd century CE. And in the book of formation, in Sefer Yetzirah, they introduce the letters of the alphabet, the months, and 3 letters in particular. And those are the 3 mother letters, are brought up in relationship to the elements. The Mem, which is the water, Mayim, and from earth, from water, earth comes. We have the 3 mother letters are Mem, from earth and water, Shin, from fire, from Shemayim, from the heavens, and Aleph, which is the breath, and it mediates between the two, between the Mayim and the Shemayim. So today our focus for the second class will be on that breath and that balance of those elements, of the most earthy, watery, heavy aspects and the highest aspects. And so we breathe to bring balance to the two, and we breathe to take our place as humankind in the balancing act here. So of the 3 mother letters, today we focus on the Aleph, which is the breath. So we'll start with counting the breath, and just whether you're breathing into your chest or you're able to distend the belly like you're inflating a balloon and breathing into the fullness of your belly. Either way, just notice how you're breathing, and we're going to breathe to a full count of 3. Breathe in, ready? 3, and exhale to a count of 3. 3. Inhale, 3, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. And keep that going in your own count of 3. Exhale. Keep that going. This time at the top of your inhale, hold also for a count of 3. So inhale, hold, 2, 3. Exhale. And at the bottom of the exhale, hold. 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 3. Hold 3. Exhale, 3. Hold 3. Keep that going for a few of your own breath cycles. Remember to keep the inhale slow, rising to a count of 3, hold for 3. And we let the breath out to a count of 3. And hold at the bottom for 3. One more time. Exhale. Hold. And we just let that go. And we'll start our practice going back into the rhythm that we started last week with a little bit of, no, actually I don't want to start with that. I'm going to move this back so we can see. I'm going to start with somewhat where we ended last week, not where we began. And so we ended with 2 positions in particular, Baddha Konasana, the soles of the feet together. And for this, it can be really nice to have a cushion or a towel or blanket to sit up on. And for now, we're going to hold the knees. Hold the knees to try to enable your torso to sit upright. Any which way you hold the knees. Maybe in holding the knees, then you can let the hips release, relax, and let the knees be heavy, and let the knees pull on your arms. Your arms are not straining to lift the knees, but there's a pulling and a weight down of gravity. This is holding those bones, holding the knees, and letting the hip bones fall away. Rotating externally and lengthening still the torso so that you can breathe fully. Breathe in to a count of 3, relax the shoulders, breathe out to a count of 3, and as you breathe out, let the knees get even heavier, sinking down. Gradually let those knees continue to pull down as far apart as they'll go. Maybe that lifts your torso and leans you forward. Still holding the knees up, or you want to switch to shins, that's fine. Keep rotating, rolling the shoulders back on the inhale. Then keep letting the knees descend on the exhale. Find and cross your legs in a comfortable cross-legged position and let those knees weight down as the hips start to open a little bit. We'll push down on the thighs. Draw the shoulders up. Take a big breath. And then exhale and tuck the tail under, suck the belly in, tuck the chin to chest. And inhale, put back to center, take the hands to the knees. Inhale, lift the chin and chest. Exhale, drop chin and chest. Tuck navel back, round the spine, tuck the tail. And inhale, come back up. We'll move back and forward in this way with the breath. Moving the body, moving the spine. Exhaling, rolling and rounding into a cat. And inhaling, lifting, arching the back bending, lifting chest and chin. Exhale. And focus a little bit on the tail here. So as you tuck the tail, you're rounding, and then as you start to lift, you are letting the tail arch and lift up back behind you. As if your head could reach back and touch your tail. And then in reverse, the tucking of the tail, the head coming down. One more time. Rolling up. Maybe you're still going to that count of 3 with your breaths. And rolling down. What we're doing is making the breath even. Pause, come back to center. You'll notice on all of these we've been lengthening and inhaling, as well as then releasing and exhaling to about equal count. And that's what yoga helps to train our bodies to do, to take a little bit of a fuller breath and a fuller, slower release. Let's extend both legs out. I mean, this is often very challenging as a position to start off with if we're not already warmed up. You can kind of jiggle the legs, you can rotate the thighs in a little bit here. Again, something that you're sitting on, a cushion, pillow, blanket can help. And bringing the hands back behind you helps to lift the torso. If at any point you need to keep the knees bent, go ahead and do that. Just let the knees be a little softer or a little narrower so that you can sit without the hands. But for now, we use the hands. And lengthen the torso with a big inhale. And then exhale, we're going to twist. We're going to bring the right arm across to the left leg. Inhale, lift up. Use the back hand behind you to lift the chest. Exhale, twist and lean forward. You're leaning over the left leg, but without rounding too much right now. First, we're lifting and extending and reaching. If you can, reach for the hand and the toes can meet each other quite easily. You have that warmth already, warmed upness, flexibility in your system. Go ahead and reach for the toes and let that continue to lift you up and over the leg. We are going to be making a lot of shapes of olive and twisting here as we twist across the body and lift the back arm up off the floor. Lift the left arm up. And take the arms back to center. And again, reach. Right arm to left foot. Left arm up. And back to center one more time. Reach over. Twist. In your body, we're making a bit of the shape of an olive. The olive has one arm up, one arm down, and a body in between at a diagonal. Now we're going to rotate to the right. And first, you can use the hands back behind you to just incline your torso, lifting it straight up and over to the right. Looking towards the toes. Gradually bring the left arm across. Reaching, letting the hand rest down anywhere on the right leg. If it easily reaches the toes, you can go ahead and use that hook to bind the hand to the toe and allow the torso to be led forward with each breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. And now we bring the right arm up. Back to center. And twist. Left arm down, right arm up. Back to center. One more time. Across. Reach. Lean. And back up. Bring your hands to heart. Maybe widen the legs slightly. Press out through the balls of the feet. Flex the toes. Press out through the balls of the feet there. Lift the knees slightly. Anchor through the sits bones and lean forward. And back upright. Gathering the knees. Back to your sitting position. Probably a little more loosened up in the hips now, a little more open there. And we're going to come into a supine position. We're lying down on the back. If lying on the back is causing you discomfort these days, or there's a reason to not be on your back today, either comfort yourself with some pillows. You can be on an incline, just as many pillows as you need there for the back, or go ahead and do this next couple of sequences lying on your side, if that's more comfortable. Again, supporting, if you're lying on your side, support your head with a pillow or a block, or anything that is needed. So come to the back body. And we're going to lift the left leg and bring the left leg over to the right. As you do that, keep the left shoulder down on the floor as much as possible, the left arm out. So again, we're making this kind of olive shape and letting the sound come out. As we use the arm and the leg as up in opposite directions to twist across the body. And back up. Hug the knees in. I'll also say if there's a reason you should not twist. If you're pregnant, you don't want to twist across the body, squeezing out the belly like that. Or if you have some issue with the discs of the vertebrae, you've been told to not twist. And you can just micro adjust this, right? You can be holding onto the knees and just rocking a little bit side to side. Or if you're on your side doing these poses, you can just stretch a left leg out and the left arm back behind you. And those are our variations today. All right, we'll go to the other side, reaching the right leg up, the right arm out, and letting the right leg fall over to the opposite side. You might keep it suspended in the air, or maybe it comes all the way to the ground. That's up to you. And the amount of torsion and twist you create in your body and are comfortable with today. Go at the level, the pace that is compassionate and kind for you. Last week we talked about Hanemi. Please grant me grace, compassion, and from there find our answers. Not from force or struggle, or pain, and compassion. You can re-extend the leg up, the arm out, and one more moment of dropping into this delicious twist. Make sure that you are exhale, sighing, letting the mouth open, the jaw relax. And coming back to center, hugging the knees. We also, at the end of last week, worked with the legs up against the wall or up suspended on a cushion. So we'll go back a little bit to that shape of allowing the waters, allowing the earth and the heaviness to reverse and to move upward in the body, because as we move from our attention of mind and earth, it's from the mem of the waters into the aleph of the breath, we move our attention up towards the heart. And so as we ground into the feet on the floor, the knees up, hip distance apart,
Try not to let the knees go out to the sides as you lift. You're going to press down through your strong calves into your heels to lift your hips. Lift your chin so your chin is not tucked into your chest. Pressing your neck. Again, you can use a pillow or a few pillows underneath your hips or a block if you have it to lift the hips up. We're just going to hold this, holding in this bridge pose and letting heaviness, letting the fluids move upward towards the heart, towards the head. One more breath, lifting the hips up. Slow breath in to a count of 3. Exhaling out to a count of 3. Inhaling. And exhale, let the hips come all the way down. This time we'll move the arms as well as the hips. So you're going to reach your arms up overhead as you lift your hips. So hips lift up, arms lift up, chin lifts up. And exhale, lower the arms. The arms are straight, coming all the way down by your side. Inhale, lift hips and arms. Exhale, lowering arms and hips. And then one more time. And let this be a massage for your shoulders, shoulder blades, arms, top of the arms on the floor. And exhaling all the way back down. This time as you get to the end here, let the soles of the feet come together again. And the knees open out to the side. And let the weight of the earth pull the legs down towards the ground. Inhale, lift the arms up here. We'll just leave our arms up overhead. We're making this big bridge of our body, a little bit of an arch. The low back should be slightly lifted up the ground, off of the ground. Big breath into the belly. Exhaling out, feeling into that place of the breath moving up towards the chest and the heart and the lungs and the throat. Feeling that breath and that pulsation extending out through the arms, out through the fingertips. Do one more thing here. In this lying down position again, you can still be on your side if you so prefer. And you can unbind the legs, do whatever is comfortable for your legs. You're just going to focus on the arms for a moment. And I want to bring the backs of the hands together. So not the palms together, but the backs of the hands together, touching the nails. And bring attention to our fingernails. And the backs of the hands together. And bend at the elbows, bring the backs of the hands, the wrists down towards the chest, and let the fingertips point downward. This is the gate to the lower body, the fingers pointing down to the low body. And then without taking the backs of the hands apart, just move so that now the fingertips are pointed upwards. The backs of the hands are together, so we're in like reverse prayer position. Backs of the hands, nails are touching, and the nails are pointed up towards the chest, the throat, the head. And this is the gateway to the upper body. We'll do that again, reaching the backs of the hands up, bending the elbows, wrists down, and letting the fingertips point down. Opening the gates of the lower body, and then rotating fingertips pointing up towards the upper body, opening the gates of the upper body. Release the hands, roll it over, and we'll come up to hands and knees just for a moment on hands and knees here. Reviewing where we started last week. Here's our back to that. Knees and elbows. Pad the knees with a blanket and rest down on the elbows. Head down. Again, allowing the lower body to then open up the gates to the upper body, to the heart, to the head. And stay here if you're more comfortable in this position than in downward facing dog. Or transition from here to tucking the toes under, planting the palms firmly down on the ground. Press down through the fingertips and the knuckles. Lift the knees and find stretch for each leg. Downward facing dog. Make sure you're relaxing the head, the neck, the jaw. And nod the head yes, no, or purse the lips. Make sounds. And then start to walk the hands back towards the feet. If you're on hands and knees, go ahead and walk the hands back. Lift the knees up and come to a forward bend position. You can hold on to the elbows. Or just let the arms relax down, letting the weight of the upper body sink down. Bend the knees. Start to lift the head. Maybe recall here what we did last week with hugging muscle devant, squeezing the legs into an imaginary pillow or block, squeezing those thighs and tucking the tail slightly to lift you upright slowly so that then the blood is in the head slowly starts to trickle down back to the heart, and the heart can distribute it back to all the extremities. We'll come to upright to standing. I'll move the camera back a little bit. We're going to do some balance poses. You can be on your mat. Make sure you can still see and hear me. If that's the case. So we're going to start. Let's see. So we're going to start again with our olive position. So taking the feet a little wider apart. You're going to reach the left arm up, the right arm down, diagonal. Making a form of an olive in the body. And then reaching the left leg back behind you. Reaching the right fingertips down to the earth, left arm up. Back to center, you can bring the palms of the hands together. Widen the feet. Reach now the right arm up, the left arm down. And step the right foot back behind you. Diagonal. Reach down with the right heel. Reach up with the right arm. Feel that stretch across the ribs, across the body. Back to center, arms together. Let the arms relax down. Find a firm footing for your feet. As we move into balance here, our eyes, our gaze, our shviti is very important. In Hebrew, I say shviti, it's our focus, our eyes, focus, our gaze. And in Hindu and in yoga, we call it our drishti. Very similar, shviti and drishti. We're going to need that shviti, need that point that we gaze on, fix our eyes on to be an anchor as we move our weight over onto one leg, to the right leg. So move all of your weight down through your right leg
The left leg is very light and can come up. Now don't get distracted with your arm. We're going to move the arm and the elbow up as we lift and bend the knee. We're going to be like marionettes here, moving the knee and the arm out to the side, down and back to center, and then lifting the knee and the elbow, opening it out to the side, and back to center. One more circle. Don't hold the breath, keep the breath fluid. And relax that leg down. Shifting the weight now down through the left side. You start to lift the right leg, the right arm, bending at the elbow, the knee, taking elbow and knee out to the side, down and around, up, inhale, exhale out, and down one more time, inhale, lift, widen, exhale, lower, return, both feet to the ground. Now we'll bring our legs together and come into a tree position. Again, we'll start with the right leg being our grounding leg and the left leg lifting up. So again, if it was more comfortable for you to remain in the legs narrow position, you can stay here. Or bring this foot, let the weight of the foot rest below the knee or above the knee, but just not on the knee. Use your eyes, your shviti as a point of balance for you to anchor you. And bring the palms of the hands together. Exhale, sinking down into the roots of your standing leg in this tree pose. Inhale, lifting through the elbows, through the chest, through the rib cage. Balancing here the gates of the lower body and the gates of the upper body. If you wobble or fall out, just come back into stillness, back into the pose. Take a breath. And exhale, slowly start to come back out. On the second side, we'll also use the arms and do a different arm variation if that feels comfortable to you. If it feels more stable to work with balance or balance challenge with hands together, feel free to do that. And you can also micro do this in any pose by keeping a toe down on the ground or keeping the legs narrow. Totally up to you where you take this. So just let the weight balance you on your left side. Once you find that balance, start to bring the right leg up and below the knee or above the knee, just not on the knee. You can reach with the arms extending out and up to an extended tree position. Letting the breath root you down and lift you up. One more breath here. Up and out through the branches, through the fingertips, starting to come down and out of the pose the same way you came in. Bring both feet to the ground. Stepping the feet comfortable distance apart. And just bend the knees and sink down into a forward bend again. Coming back up. I'm going to step the left leg back. If you're on your mat, make sure your feet are not on a tightrope. You have enough room so you can step your left leg over a little bit so that you can swivel your hips forward facing. We're going to work with Konasana, 2 straight legs. The back foot is at a diagonal at 45 degrees. The heel is down.
You can lift and spread the toes on both feet. Press down through the balls of the feet, through the inner arches, as well as through the pinky toe and the back heel. Square the hips forward facing. Hands can stay at the hips. And exhale, start to lean forward. Just get to where it is comfortable. You start to feel the limits of your hip, your hamstrings. Inhale, lengthen the torso. Exhale, lower. There's a lot of different hand variations here. You can stay with hands at the hips. You could bring the hands behind you, holding onto the elbows, or you could bring the palms together, pointing upwards towards the shoulder blade. Chest moving forward, the throat open. Don't forget that olive sound. No, olive doesn't really have a sound, but here we go. But hey. And back upright. Come to center. Just stretch the feet wide apart. Take the arms out wide. And then we'll bring the hands to the center, reaching down towards the floor, or a block, or a cat, or a dog, or a child. Wherever you've got there. Exhale, let the head come down. Feet again should be parallel, pressing into the balls of the feet and the heels of the feet. And then come back upright. Step the legs together. And we'll switch sides. Stepping the right leg back. Turn to face you. Making sure the feet are hip distance apart and the hips can swivel forward. Hands can start at the hips as you start to lean into a forward lean, forward bend. Two straight legs, back foot at a 45-degree angle, pressing down through the feet, balls of the feet. Inner arch, inner heel, outer heel. Straightening, lifting, toning this front thigh. Lean in, getting to the limit there, inhaling and lifting the chest a little bit, exhale and lowering back into the stretch. The count of 3. Inhale 3. Exhale 3. Inhale back upright. Step the legs together. And again, step the legs apart. Again, we forward bend here, folding forward from the hips, letting the left arm come down and the right arm come up. Twist and look up. Breathe, inhale 3. Exhale 3. If you want to add in the holds, you can breathe to inhale 3, hold for 3. Exhale 3. And hold the breath out for 3. Switch sides. Left arm up. Count with the breath. Making the breath nice and even. And lengthening it out. And bringing the hands back down. You can step the legs together and come on back down. With this next pose, we'll do one more balance kind of pose. And this will be either on the belly or on the side body. I'll show the side body first. For those that are not going to be practicing on the belly, so sensitivity, fullness in the belly. So if you're doing this on the side, you want to again support the head. You can support it with a blanket or a pillow. And we're going to see if the hand and the foot meet each other. If they don't, then the hand stays on the hip. And as you bend the foot back behind you, you just want to really open this left shoulder back. Right? If the hand and foot come together, then you try to close the legs. And again, bend the elbow and roll that shoulder back. So that'll be a bow pose on one side of the body, and then you would switch to the other side. We're doing this on the belly. You can prop yourself up and reach back on the right foot. Again, if foot and hand don't come together, don't worry about it. Keep the hand on the hip and keep the shoulder lifted. I'm going to move the elbow back instead of letting the shoulder drop down. Move the shoulder up and just flex the foot, and that's fine. The foot and hand do come together, and the foot can be what helps to roll and pull the arm and shoulder back. This is helping to open up the heart, chest. We're all in this together here. All get tight in those arms, shoulders, and release. We'll do the other side. Looking up over the shoulder, looking for the foot. Maybe stay with that a moment longer. And those of you that with comfort here in this pose might try to do it with both feet and both arms, making a big bow with the back body and rocking a little bit on the belly. Press the hands down, press back onto the knees, and bring the hips back towards the heels. Move into a child's pose if you have blankets, pillows, cushions, grab it all. Separate the knees a little wider apart and fold over. We'll stay here in this reverse curl. So we just open the front of the body, the chest, the shoulders so much. You know, just allowing the natural tendency of the body to curl in. And from this place, it's actually a really great stretch for the spinal column. You're getting spaciousness. Try to think of breathing into each of those spaces between the vertebrae of the spinal column, or converting the spongy discs there into like marshmallows or pillows between each of the bones of your spinal column, the vertebrae. And breathe. Bring your breath into that back body to help inflate and stretch, especially this area behind the heart. If you're comfortable and want to stay here, feel free to stay there. If you want to move into lying down for a moment, I will share with you one of our meditation quotes from Rabbi Lu's book. So you can stay where you are. In child's pose, you can move into another comfortable reclined pose, whether that's on the belly or on the back or on the side. It's that a collective sigh out. In this process of letting go, dropping into the depth and the essence of who we are, finding our breath and our heart, and then feeling that heart catching or racing or opening, whatever the case may be. We've been in it, and we've been in it together here in this group in particular.
a very special group to be moving through this bodily practice together here in this way, and becoming coming into the high holidays and bringing all of our being and all of our bodies and all of our emotions here together. So I want to honor and thank you all for showing up and for being here. And the first mention of Rosh Hashanah in the Talmud is that we are seen as a great flow of beings coming before our Creator and being counted. And it says that God fashions their hearts as one and discerns all their actions together. And so this reminds us that we are a great multitude, and that our actions are judged together, and our hearts are judged as one whole, as a greater whole, not just as our individual small selves, but as a greater flow of being. And I'm quoting from this book by Rabbi Alan Liu. This is real and you are completely unprepared. But here we are showing up. And Rabbi Liu talks about meditation frequently here in the preparation tool. And says, when we sit in meditation with other people, breathing the same air, hearing the same sounds, and thinking thoughts in the same rhythms and patterns, we experience our connection to each other in a very immediate way. This connection is not merely an idea, it is our heartfelt, visceral reality. This is an important part of the process of seeing ourselves. Meditation helps us inhabit ourselves more deeply. And it constantly throws us up against the very things about ourselves we are trying not to see. But it carries the process of insight one step further. It helps us to see that we are not merely our individual selves, but part of something much more vast as well. Hashem fashions their hearts as one and discerns all of their actions together in a great flow of being. So as we move through Elul, this time preparation and our own individual journeys, we also join together to be part of how we are part of a larger journey and a larger collective of souls, of hearts, of breathers, of beings, of bodies. We are part of this whole. And our teshuvah is linked to the teshuvah of all. And so whether we are doing a particular daily practice or not is less important than as if we as a people are in the process of lev-tahor, purifying our hearts, our souls, and our spirits through this process of teshuvah. I'll invite you into silent reflection, just a moment to stretch out, to be in Shavasana, the classic yoga position for final integration, just to let your body relax on the floor. You can change positions to lying comfortably, whether it's on your back or your side, supporting yourself with any pillows under the knees or under the head that you'd like. And sitting, breathing as one. No difference between us. No good and bad, perfect and imperfect. We just are one. And so we drop into the breath here and have this moment to integrate our practice in becoming that silent Aleph. And dropping into our heart space. We'll hold in this silence for a few minutes until you hear the sound of the bell calling you back. Deep breath in and coming back. Back to sitting upright. Bringing your hands over your mem and over your aleph. Mother letters. Breathing into the nourishment of the waters and the earth and our bodies and the breaths, the ruach, the spirit. And the balance that we find therein when we take this time to practice together as one, to breathe together. Thank you. Thank you for showing up for this. Namaste.